Today, there's immense pressure on people in terms of the workload, in terms of the amount of information they have to handle, because they're working with people from different disciplines. The fact that we're always on because we have this technology that follows us around everywhere, because we're working with people who are on the other side of the globe. There's no real effort on the side of many organizations to delineate these boundaries and say, this is what we expect from you, and we don't want you to push yourself beyond your limits. When that kind of implicit agreement has been given for people to go further and further and to take more and more on, it leads to people buckling under the pressure of that strain. The recent research in positive psychology has found is that happiness and well-being are not things that are nice to have, they are essential. When you are in a positive state of mind, that's when the human mind is able to explore new things, make new connections, and that's when we're more open to other people. We realized that not only was well-being important for the individual, but how important it was for the company itself. And the reason it's important is because in this knowledge and creative economy, we really depend on people to be in a positive state of mind in order to do their best work. When you say well-being, they might associate it with a spa or going on vacation or being on a yoga mat, but those ideas are very escapist. It's like as if in order to feel well, you have to run away from your everyday life. Whereas what we're saying is that you can experience terrific well-being in the workplace.
It's important for you to move throughout the day. It's important that you take care of your bodies, that you take care of what you eat, what you do, how much you exercise throughout the day. But it's also important because what people forget is that they are part of the architecture. We are actual physical element in the space.
Space tells us, without saying a word, it tells us what we're supposed to be doing, what we're allowed to do, and what we're not allowed to do. If you want to encourage people to be more social and to create community, you have to create spaces that say this is a community. These are spaces that are dedicated for you to have a private conversation. Here's a place for you to celebrate something. Here's a place to share information with everyone. So the space definitely can give a message and promote well-being. Out of all the different recommendations out there for improving well-being, and there are many, we identified the 6 that were indispensable and fundamental.
The first one is mindfulness, focusing the mind, controlling your mind. The second is authenticity, being yourself just every day. The third is the notion of belonging and the notion of constructing a tight and strong community of people. The fourth is the notion of meaning, feeling that what you do has an overall purpose. The fifth is about optimism, how you view the world with a positive mindset. And the last one is about vitality, which is what you do to make your body healthy and to also try to bring your body and your mind more often together as a whole.
A lot of researchers have been focusing on trying to understand not just the preventative side, how do we avoid people getting stressed out, burned out, and injured, but how do you take someone from not -5 to 0, but from 0 to 10? How do you help people flourish? One of the things that really inspired our work was thinking, how can we make it so that people leave work healthier at the end of the day than when they arrived? If we're sick or depressed or concerned or preoccupied, then we're not going to have the mental and emotional availability to do the creative work and the collaborative work that's being asked of us today. Well-being is really the core today because what organizations are asking people to do is to really give themselves, and we can only give ourselves if we're well.